Hi, I'm Eddie of Eddie's Reef. Today's weekly video is going to be on the Pavona Coral, one of the recent acquisitions that I got. I'm going to talk about the basic stuff, the care requirements, and then at the end I'm going to talk about a quick tip, something that you should know if you have lights that are adjustable, a little tip that you should know. So let's check it out and take a deep dive. Okay, so here we are focused at the actual coral. And here's what I found out. First of all, Pavona corals are SPS corals. In other words, small polyp stony corals. Now, it is definitely a beginner's friendly SPS coral, which brings color and texture to your mature, established reef tank. Now, they're known to be easier to keep than other SPS corals. Pavonas can grow in 3 different growth patterns: encrusting, plating, and branching. They're seen mostly green, purple, and orange in color with a cactus type of structure. Now this one is geared towards, I would say, the yellowish type of color. I personally, I've been in this hobby, I say 25 years and up, but now I'm up to about 30-ish and more. And I've seen these corals in Miami. I've gone to quite a few LFS. Here in Orlando, the same thing. And I have never seen Pavona, this type of structure, this type of color. This is the first time that I see it. Now, one thing that I do advise is to take a look at the mother colony of your Pavona, if possible. It will likely grow in a similar manner to the mother colony, although this is not guaranteed, as variations occur due to different light, flow, and water conditions in your tank. Now, this one, touching on this phrase, when I saw the mother colony is beautiful, it's actually a towering type of coral. It's not plating, it's not encrusting, it's actually, it looks like 3 little mountains going up. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful. But as I'm mentioning now, there's no guarantee that it's going to actually grow the way that I saw the mother colony. Although, if you look here, right there, you see like a little lump, and that to me would be the beginnings of what I actually saw on the mother colony, which is, you know, a towering type of coral. Now, let's go into placement. And this is debatable, to be honest with you. But while Pavonas do not require the same level of flow and light as many aquaporas, shall we say, they do need plenty of water movement to keep them healthy. Now, when it comes to that topic, with years doing research and talking to different people and different LFS, the rule of thumb that I've been told, and I have experimented with it, and I have witnessed it in my tanks, different tanks that I've had, and it's a very simple formula. A coral that's properly acclimated, you can put it in any place of the tank. But of course, that's like, let's say, a baseline. Because then what you have to take into effect, like I just mentioned now, is the flow and the light. So like, let's say if you start to adjust the lights or something, you might have an issue and yet you might not. But I'm pretty sure that I'm not the only, let's say, YouTube creator, YouTube videos that you watch. If you look at different creators like me, and you look at their tanks, you're gonna see, like, for instance, Pavona Care. You'll see them on some tanks that they're on the lower quadrant of the actual tank, coming out of a ledge or a rock on the bottom. And then you'll see others that'll be on the mid-range, the mid-quadrant, and you'll see some way up there. So, you know, it depends. And also another factor, I mean, I don't want to get very complicated with all you guys out there, but another factor that I keep stressing. And some people say that how can you prove it? But it also depends on the mother colony. If the mother colony is a weak strain, and then your frag and frag and frag of the frag and all that, then when it comes to the final destination, your tank, your reef, it might not do well, and yet it might. So that's also another factor, but you know, that gets more complicated. And you know, remember that this hobby is supposed to be fun, not scientifically, you know, I mean, it does involve science, you know, when it comes to certain things or topics like testing and what you should do, and let's say the water movement, the oxygenation. Okay, I understand that, but you can't get it, I mean, you can get it and make it as complicated as you want to, but the object is actually to enjoy your reef tank. So if you get very complicated or very concerned, then it comes actually, it becomes a mission or a job, and you really don't enjoy it as much. So the rule of thumb on all these things is really to try to keep it simple. But I thought I'd throw that out there, that not necessarily when they say, you know, it's supposed to be at a certain level and all that, you might be able to play around with it. As a matter of fact, right now as we speak, and I'll bring it up at the end of the video, the quick tip that I thought I'd bring up today, I'm ramping up my brightness on the XR15 Pro, the 4th generation that I have presently over the tank. I'm bringing it up, but then at the same token, you know, I'm not going to spend money on getting a meter, to a par meter, to go ahead and check the different levels and all that. So I'm doing it the old-fashioned way, which is you know, observing the coral. But we'll talk about that later on at the end when I do the outro. So that's something that I thought I'd bring up when it comes to placement. Now when it comes to lighting, well, Pavonas prefer medium to high lighting. Many people have reported the best success at around 100 par. Now 100 par to me is between middle and low. Again, depending on the lights that you're running on top of this tank and where they're set at. Now, also remember that medium to high is a relative term. In other words, what I was mentioning, medium to a tank might be high or low to another tank in reference to the light's output. Now, what I would do is observe the coral, and if you begin to see bleaching, then bring it to a lower level of your reef, which is what I'm doing now when it comes to bringing up not the different light spectrum, but the brightness, the total brightness of the XR15 Pro. Now, another topic, feeding. When it comes to feeding, Pavona polyps are large enough that you can directly feed them if you want to. However, Pavonas are perfectly capable of catching food out of the water column as long as you're feeding your fish enough and other kinds of food. If you're already broadcasting feeding like, let's say, reef roids or other small particulates, coral food, like, let's say on Mondays, I do phyto feeds. Wednesday, I do reef roids, and then Friday, I do oyster feeds. So if you do that, this will likely be more than enough to feed your Pavona. Always remember that Pavona receive most of their nutrition through their symbiotic relationship with zooxanthellae algae, who are photosynthetic. So what I'm saying here, to make it a little more simpler, is that, you know, they really rely on light. So you really shouldn't go out of your way to actually feed the actual coral. Now, they're known to be non-aggressive. And the final thing that I thought I'd bring up, that the care level is really easy. They're not as difficult as, let's say, as agros. Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it interesting and fun. But before I close, I thought I'd shoot out a little quick tip for all of you out there when it comes to lighting and adjustments. Okay, if you have a light over your tank that's adjustable, Like in my case, I have the Radions, the XR15 Pro. Or you have Kessels and others, and we can go on and on. But in general, the lights that you are able to adjust the colors or the brightness, and you feel that you don't have enough light and you need to ramp them up, for instance. Okay, number one, what I would do is do a research, YouTube, or talk to your local LFS and see what they're running. I know that a lot of LFS offer their templates, that you can go ahead and you can download their template when it comes to either Radions or other types of lights. But one problem with that is that, yeah, that's the light schedule that they're running on their tanks. But not necessarily will you get the same effect when it comes to your corals, the behavior of your corals in your tank. Because, I mean, like I've mentioned before, you can have I can have two identical of these tanks. Same rock, salt, sand, light, everything. And you'd be surprised, they both will behave completely different. So talking about that, when it comes to all these LFS, not to mention any names in general, no, you can go ahead, go to our website and download our schedule, our template. That's beautiful, fun, and all that. But trust me, it will not behave the same way that it behaves and looks in their tanks. Because remember, if you look at their templates, well, matter of fact, I'll take it back. If you look at their tanks, whether it's the show tank or all the tanks that they're running with all the different frags, I mean, you definitely probably don't have the exact tank or setup. So no matter if you download that template and schedule, you might have issues when it comes to the behavior of your corals, and it might not even look identically the same. So what's the quick tip with that intro that I gave you is, if you decide that you want to ramp up the lights, only do it weekly at 5% intervals. Again, only 5% intervals weekly. Because what happens is, if you go ahead and you download one of those templates and you go ahead and ram it into your lights, adjustable lights, your lights might be off. I mean, from the present schedule, might be off way out. I mean, you might be running like what, 40, you know, let's talk the topic just of brightness. You might be running 40% brightness. Then their schedule might be 80 or 90%. If you do that in one shot, trust me, you're going to shock the corals and you're going to have a problem. It might affect the corals. So the rule of thumb is, do your research, ask your LFS, but if you want to bring them up to a set amount that you think is reasonable for your tank, only do it at 5% intervals weekly and observe your corals. They do fine, okay, next week you go ahead and you bring up another 5% until you hit that sweet spot. The sweet spot can be the way they look to your taste, or actually how the corals are behaving. To the part of the healthiness of the coral. So no matter if it looks too blue or too bright or whatever, but that's what actually these corals on this mixed reef actually benefit, that's what I'll go with. I'm not going to go with because it looks beautiful and it looks fantastic in the living room. This tank is set up on my dining room. I'm always going to look at what benefits the actual corals. And if the outcome is that for all of you viewing the tank or people coming in here and seeing it that it looks too blue or something, well, you know, that's what's actually healthy for the actual tank. So that's the, I know I said quick tip and I went into details, but that's my quick tip. So moving on, if you like the video and found it fun, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And like I say at the end of all of my videos, happy reefing, thanks for watching, and until next time, bye-bye.